Hey, everybody, welcome, welcome. It is Friday Reads Live. I'm back and I am here to talk about books. What are you reading today, this weekend, and sometimes into the following week? So, we're waiting for some people to come into the chat. If you're watching, don't be shy. Feel free to come in and chat with us and let us know what you're reading. It's great to hear what people are reading. We love getting recommendations over here. So I'm going to wait for more people to come before I start talking about what I'm reading this week. And so the week has passed very quickly. It seems like we were just here just last week, but it feels like it was yesterday, really. And here we are again. It's Friday, and today we're going to be talking about book snobbery because we all have it. We try to say that we're cool and we don't have it, but we do. We have the book snobbery, and we're gonna talk all about it. So let's welcome in the house Tracy. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. How are you? What are you reading? Hello, Alicia. How are you? Happy Friday. You reading? And Bucola's in the house. We don't always have Bucola. She's on my side of the Atlantic, but I'm glad to see Bucola here today. Happy Friday, Bucola. And what are you reading? As a matter of fact, I caught one of your short recommendation videos, and one of the books that you were talking about, which is, I think it's one that's called Co. I can't remember the other part of it. I have that book, and I was like, oh my God, we're talking about the book. So now I'm happy that I got it, and I'm sure it's going to be good. All right. Yeah, I know. Bucolo's over here. This is good. Hello, Birdie. How are you? Happy Friday. Let's see. Bucola is glad to be here as well. It's been a minute, girl. It's been a minute, but I'm glad you're here. Um, so what are y'all reading? I mean, we're like, what is this, week three? About to be week four, and yeah, it's been a weird month for me, but it's been a weird month. Am I reading? Well, I'm going to be starting this tomorrow. Queen of Exiles is what we're reading for my Read So Lit book club this month. And yeah, I'm kind of excited to read this one because I've not read of a Raleigh before. And I think this is going to be an interesting one. And I love this cover. It's like so good, this cover. All right. And then I'll be finishing up this one tonight. This is Artificial Wisdom. I'm reading this from my Normandy book club, and we're going to be discussing this one tomorrow afternoon with the author. The author is going to be on Zoom with us to talk. So we'll be in a meeting together, and then we're going to zoom him into our meeting to talk about artificial wisdom. I think I may do a review on this one. I'm not sure. If you really want me to do a review on this one, put a thumbs up because I don't really know if if I really want to do a review on it, but we'll see. I think I have about 100 pages, 130 pages left in this one. It's kind of long. It's like 400 and I think 12 pages or something like that. And then last but not least, I'm working on this one, which is Nagima Foods. I'm smack dab in the middle of this one. Fantastic read so far. Family story, done in the brilliance that only Nagima Foods can do with a family story. Really, really enjoying this one. I'm buddy reading this one with Nicole. We're going to be reading also book two and three in this trilogy. So yeah, book one is been really good, and I read so long ago I didn't even remember half the stuff that was happening in this book. So glad that I reread book one. So that is what girl is reading today, this weekend, and the following week. So let's see what you guys got on deck. Let me go back up. Um, uh, okay, so Bernie says she hasn't loved everything that she's been reading. Nothing's bad. Just haven't loved anything. Well, look, I already have one DNF. and one meh, So my year isn't starting that great either. So we're just gonna see how it ends because it has not started well. Let's just put it that way. Um, let's see. Bacola says currently reading The Stolen Daughter by Florence. Is it Olajida? Olajide, maybe. I don't think I know this title, The Stolen Daughter. Or do I? It's not ringing a bell for me, that one. So let me know what it's about. It sounds like it's an African writer or maybe a Black British writer. Tracy says we're expecting a heavy snowstorm starting late Saturday night into Sunday and Monday. Yeah, I heard about that storm. I thought my mom was going to get it, but New Orleans is getting nothing. It's going right up to it's passing over the North Louisiana. New Orleans is going to be safe. Thank you, Jesus. Everybody that's going to be in the storm, I hope everything is going to be okay, that you won't lose power, that you have everything you need, that you won't be missing anything if you are snowed or iced in. Um, let's see. Alicia said she's reading Dominion by Addie. What is it? Is it Chichens or Chichens? It is. How is this book, Alicia? How are you enjoying or not enjoying Dominion? I'm curious. Because says already finished Queen of Exiles. Oh, you have the same copy. It's beautiful. I guess this must be the British copy. The British. But I like this one. I think it's really beautifully done. Um, let's see. Bucola's also reading Black Cherokee by Antonio Michael Downing. Okay, that sounds interesting. Okay, thumbs up. Hello, Raymond. How are you? Happy Friday. What are you reading? Let me see. Bucola says to Alicia, I hear Dominion is really good. Apparently, it's like Greenleaf. Oh my God, I heard that. I love Greenleaf. That was such a good show. Um, Tracy says I finished the Hazel Scott biography. And I'm also done with rereading Americana for book club. I don't mind because Americana was 5 read for me. Okay, so that's good to hear. So this is your second read of Americana, and you still feel it's like a 5 star. That's fantastic because that doesn't always happen. Hello, Curtis. Happy Friday. How are you? What are you reading? Um, Tracy says hello to Raymond. Bucola say to everybody. Okay, Alicia says to Bucola, I'm halfway in Dominion and I'm not getting Greenleaf yet. Oh my God. Okay. But it is church messy. Okay. Because Greenleaf was good. Didn't y'all like Greenleaf? I love Greenleaf. My husband and I were all in on the Greenleaf. We loved it. We loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Bucola said the Stolen Daughters by Nigerian author, okay. And it's about women leading during leading leading during slavery time. Is that a typo? Okay, the Stolen Daughter. I have not heard about that one. Let me just do a quick search. uh, hello, Sharon. How are you? Happy Friday. And says hello to everyone, and that she's reading the Attic Child by Lola J. I remember Lola J. That was one by Lola J. I tried to read and I DNF'd it. I can't remember what it was called. Wasn't the Attic Child? It was something else, I think. It said I'm reading Freedom Was in Sight. Okay, a graphic history of Reconstruction in the Washington D.C. region by Kate Mosser and Liz Clark. Okay. This is a graphic history. Wow. Okay, so that is gonna be heavy. Okay. Tracy said that British cover is beautiful. Yeah, I know, isn't it? It's very pretty, this cover. They did a really good job on this one because that other one, it looks crazy. I don't like it so much. Um, The US was kind of crazy. They said, I'm reading Little Big by John Crowley. Interesting berries in a special town. It's kind of like magical realism. Okay. Magical realism is my favorite, but depending on how it's done, I can get by with it. Alicia said, I have heard chickens pronounced kittens. Okay, because I don't know how to pronounce it. I've heard both ways, so I'm like, what? I don't know. But I go with kitchens if you say that's what you heard. I've heard both as well, though. Um, I am liking Dominion so far. I really like how the author is revealing the mother's character. Okay, well done. Tracy said, read, yeah, I read it when it I read it when it came out. I told everybody to read it when it came out, but I haven't read it a second time since then. Curtis said, I'm still reading Frederick Douglass, Prophet of Freedom by David W. Blight. Should be done by this weekend. Also reading Real by Kennedy Ryan. How is that going for book club? And started reading Winch. Oh my God, Winch is going to put you in a bind. Like, Winch is going to make you mad. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to make you mad in places, but good. It's good. Um, Bucola says she loved Greenleaf. Yeah, we loved it too. Um, Ryan Reed's book says, hey, to me and to everybody. Hey, 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 welcome. What you reading? Don't hold back. I want to know. Raymond said, Curtis, how long did it take you to read Frederick Douglass? Okay, now that is the question, Raymond. Um, Curtis said to Sharon, I read Attic Child, Lola J last year, and it was one of 5 reads. Loved it. Okay, so he loved it. Ren said, listening to The King Must Die by Ashing Jiwa or Jiwa. Okay. And how is it going? Curtis said to Raymond, I'll be reading the last 5 chapters tomorrow and I will be done. I started on January the 1st and just read on my off days from work. Okay, well, you did real well. Tracy said, yes, I read Americana back when it first came out, 5 stars, then 5 stars on the reread. That's perfect. That's because sometimes when you reread, particularly when you reread, like, let's say it's 10 years down the line or, 8 years down the line, sometimes that 5 star we're not feeling the 5 star the second time around. So the fact that you're feeling 5 star, that's because I was always afraid that Americana would get a little dated, and I'll explain what I mean by because the novel has a big blog social media thing in it. I was thinking, oh, like maybe if we read it nowadays, we maybe wouldn't connect in the same way that we connected back then. But I'm glad to hear that you still connected with it, really strongly and still gave it a 5. So that's really good. Um, Birdie says, I love rereading because you can come to the book living more life and you can do with different lessons learned as you get older. Yeah, I feel like that is true. Although sometimes I really like, oh my God, I don't want to reread. And then when I do reread, I'm like, oh damn, that book was excellent. When you reread and you realize it was like, yeah, you thought the first time you read it is definitely the right thing. So yeah, rereading. There's something to say for rereading. Let's see. Raymond said, wow, Curtis, you read that fast. 800 pages in a month. He killed it. He killed it. Like, but Curtis is serious now. He ain't playing. Like, he's serious about his reading. He got his stuff organized. So I'm not at all surprised. Curtis is organized. Hello, P.S. Beloved. I'm also reading the Frederick Douglass bio. The author is from my hometown. Oh, very nice, Flint, Michigan. I'm still in the introduction, not a fan of bios, but making an exception. The book was a gift. Well, somebody really liked you, gave you a good book as a gift. So enjoy, take your time. Don't rush it. Read at your pace. So if you really need to read 50 pages a day, then do that. If you need to read less, well, then do less. Just enjoy what you're reading. Raymond said, I'm also reading This Is My Century by Margaret Walker. Okay. So she said, she's asking me if I rated 5 stars as well. And yes, I did rate Americana 5 stars when I read it. Absolutely. Um, Bertie said, I'll be rereading Invisible Man in February. Same here. I'll be reading it as well. I don't think Michael and Tatiana have read it yet. So it should be interesting when we discuss it together since they haven't read it yet. So I'm kind of happy to be rereading it because I haven't read it since college. So it's a very long time ago. So a reread is a reread is what I need to do. Let's see. Um, Curtis says to Raymond, reading on my off days really helped me since it was so long. This is the approach I will take going forward for long biographies like that. Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, basically, what you're saying, Curtis, is you stayed on it. You didn't like read a little bit and then procrastinate and go, read this. You stayed on it, and that's the best way to do it when it's long is to stay on it and not read too many things on the side because you start reading too many other books on the side, and it just you don't really want to go back to your biography. So you did the right way, and yeah, you killed it. Um, let's see. Bertie said I had a discussion with a friend when I first read it offline, and I don't know if this is a thing. When I read Invisible Man, I visualized it as like a one-person play. Now it's funny that you say that because I totally see how you could read it like that. Like I'm not surprised by that at all. Because it does have those it could have those vibes of sort of like a one act, one a monologue type play. So I'm not surprised that it gives you those vibes. Hello, DL. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. We're so yeah, I'm really excited about rereading Invisible Man. Yeah, it's been a minute. Last year we read in the Read to Live book club, we read Juneteenth, and that was a bust. Was not good. It was a book that he had not finished, and it was finished by this person who had been put over uh, his literary works. So this white man, I think his name is like John McCallahan or something like that. He was appointed over his literary, works, and he tried to put together how he thought that Juneteenth would finally be finished. And in the end, we read and we couldn't even figure out why it was called Juneteenth. That's how muddled it was. So he didn't do a good job at all on the book. Very hard to read, very broken up, but tough read. A tough and disappointing read. So this is what happens when you put the wrong person over the author's literary works, particularly the works that they have not finished. Let's see. Okay, Dale says, am reading an arc of Keeper of Lost Children. Well done by Sadiqa Johnson. Being honest, I am a tad bored. Oh shit. I am 30% in. I think it's just me. Okay, well, look, I'm gonna say you're tired. Yeah, I'm because everybody waiting for that book. Everybody waiting for that book. So we're gonna act like we didn't see that. We're gonna hope for the best. Raymond said, speaking of Frederick Douglass, he makes an appearance in the book I'm reading, Freedom Was in Sight. And what kind of appearance does he make in the book? Is he, looking good in there, or is he look like on his bad side? Because that's the thing. Sometimes Frederick Douglass, we know his marital affairs weren't so nice, um, but his political stuff is on point. So I guess it depends on the way, the way he showed up in the book that you're reading. I think that's really funny. So yeah. Anyway, so let's start talking about this topic of book snobbery. So somebody brought it up last week, and they said, "Oh yeah, a little bit of book snobbery." I was like, well, let's talk about that because I think we all have our little prejudgment ideas about certain things, or snobbery about certain things that we just can't get past. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about the context we're reading. It can be, but it can be other stuff like book snobbery around people who don't like when people annotate. Annotation is like a really big thing in the book community. Um, some people are like, oh no, I'll never do. I'm like, I probably have a book snobbery towards that. I just prefer not to annotate, but I don't look at anyone, like, oh, you annotate. Like, I don't do that because it's like I know some people that's how they function. Annotation is just another way for them to, read a book and reflect on it properly and stuff. So I'm not the kind of person to be book snobby or that, but some people are. Like they're like, oh, don't touch my book, don't crack my spine. Um, let's see. Raymond said just give a speech at a school that opened in D.C. in 1894, a year before he died. Oh wow! So he showed up really cool. Um, wow, 1 year before he died. That's interesting. How old was Frederick Douglass when he died? Because I do not know. So while Raymond is giving me those facts, everybody tell me that's in the chat, tell me what is one thing that they have that is like their book snobby about. One thing. I'll tell you one of my book snobbery things. You probably can guess. So my book snobbery thing is I can't bear to read a book that has so many grammatical mistakes and errors and stuff like that. I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh, he was 77. Wow. Okay. He lived a long life. Bertie said, I bought a used copy of Rebecca years ago and I still have it somewhere. And whoever had it before me wrote like gasping uh, different theories of what was actually happening. Okay, now that's kind of funny to read that, but it's also kind of annoying. Like, I don't mind if people annotate, but I don't want your book. I don't want to buy like a used book and find out it's been annotated because that just would, yeah. Unless for some reason I purposely would like to see what that person has annotated the book. That's a little different. Bertie said it made the experience a lot more fun. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Tracy said, I like to put tabs by main points and quotes. That's me, girl. I'm a tabbing girl. That's all I put tabs. You can see my tabs, get the tabs going, and I'm good to go. And then also I have my little notebook on here, but I have my little notebook on the side where I write my little notes, but I haven't annotated since college. I just annotating reminds me of college, basically. Um, wait. It went up too fast. Okay, here. Alicia said, no secret, mine is a long. I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. Especially when it's long, just to be long. Oh my God. Okay. So, Alicia, name us a few books that are just long, just to be long. Okay. So we can just be messy here. Um, Bertie said, I'm the same DD used to work in copy editing. Oh wow. So that stuff really bothers me and I can't turn my brain off in that way. Yeah. Just I don't know. I can't do it. I cannot do it. Um, Lex is in the house. Hello, Lex. How are you? She says a stamp on the cover of a book. Laugh out loud. I wish we could remove the sticker like back in the day. That's probably one of yeah, that's probably one of my book snobbery things as well because I have this thing with I feel like um if we're gonna do the whole we need to know what book club book is in. I say put like a paper band around like they do in France, like a paper band around and they write on there it's the whatever prize or whatever they could put whatever book club is on it and then that band can be removed. It's just a small piece of paper that they wrap around. I think if they did that, I think people would be a lot than having that, like you said, that grotesque sticker sticking there. Raymond said, yeah, I can't stand grammatical errors too. Rosa says, hi to everybody. Hello, Rosa. How are you? Happy Friday. What are you reading? And what is your book snobbery? Tracy said, grammatical errors make me want to stop reading a book. Yeah. Hello, I'm Lola. How are you? Happy Friday. What are you reading? And do you have any book snobbery to talk about? Bucola said romance novels. Wait. Romance novels? Your book snobbery? So what is that all about? What you can't get behind romance novels, but why? Because you just said romance novels like that. Give me some thought on that. I'm kind of interested a little bit more about that. Um, let's see. Tracy said book snobbery pet peeve of mine is dog earring pages. Please don't. I have to say that's one of mine as well. It just makes me go when I see like a beautiful, book, it has beautiful crisp thick pages and somebody goes and dog ears it, I lose it. I try not to look at people's books when I'm at my book club in Normandy because there are a couple of people that dog ear their pages and I can't stand it. So I try not to look at their books when we're together discussing a book. It's not going to see bent over pages and it just drives me nuts. Um, yeah, get a tab, get some tabs, get some tabs. Um, let's see. Let's see. Bucola said independently published books. Yeah, I'm not a fan of those either. Man, I'm not a fan of those either, Bucola. We have some shit in common. I'm not a fan of those. I've already had a couple of run-ins, which I've talked about on here. I had a run-in with somebody, a Nigerian guy, with his poorly edited book, where his female characters were all victims, and in every scene they were a victim. All the men were overly macho, and the writing was subpar. The man was writing a lot as one word. Okay. Oh yeah, I agree about the independently published books. I can't. Um, Bertie said, I hate when there is a mismatch. Oh, I hate that too. Mismatching series because of how they release them. Yeah, I can't stand that either. Because, and the thing that really is a pet peeve is when they will release them out, it'll be the same publisher. One will be this much taller than the other one. I can't stand it. That like, drives me insane. And I can't understand why they wouldn't understand that the person that's spending about $30 on the book is gonna want their books to be all the same size and the same look because it's a series. I don't get why they don't see that this is a problem. I really don't get that. Definitely a pet peeve for me, that one. Let's see. He said, well, love songs to W.B. Du Bois is what? Oh my God. One of three of it could have been cut and been just as powerful. So I think W.B. Du Bois is what, 800 pages. So you're saying it could be, yeah, like more like 600 pages or 500 pages. Okay, I haven't read it yet. It's on my TBR for this year though. Um, let's see. Pages Glow says, "Hey to me and everybody." Oh, it's Shonda. Hey, how are you? What are you reading? What are some of your bookish snobbery pet peeves? Let us know. Hello, Anna. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you. Sweet. Um, okay, so Shonda says, I'm reading. Oh, you're reading Queen of Exile. Queen of Exiles. I just started. Well, I'm starting tomorrow, so I'm probably gonna be the last one to start. Everybody else has probably read this by now. Um, Bertie said, when my grandmother takes my paperbacks and bends back. Oh my God, she doesn't bend back the pages. Lord Jesus, like not dog ear, but she flips the cover over and holds it in one hand, and I'm just like, you're going to break. That's fine already broke. Jesus. Yeah, I don't like that either. That's book abuse. Book abuse. It said also stains in a book like coffee or something. Um, or drink stains, food, or crumbs. Yeah, so that's the thing for me. I have a hard time eating and reading at the same time. I don't know how to do that very well. Now I can drink, I can drink some tea or some water or something while I'm reading, but for some reason I'm always admiring people who can eat and not get their book stained at the same time. I don't know how to do that. But yeah, it's kind of gross, but you do see that when you use bookstores and you flip through the book and you'll see like someone has literally just put their coffee mug or whatever on top of the book. It's coffee ring in the middle of the page. It's kind of gross. Or there'll be crumbs in the inner part of the book, the down the cracks of the spine, where the person had when eating something, and you just getting the old ass crumbs from 10 years ago in there. That's gross too. Yeah, I don't like it. Amalola says book snobbery when characters are dumb for no reason. Yeah, I don't like that either. Oh yes, Raymond. Food and drink stains. Ugh. Yeah. So yeah, I don't like that either. Um, said, tell it, Raymond. No stains, please. Curtis said one of my pet peeves about books is when people actually write in the book or underline. Okay, so it's like annotating. I would rather someone use sticky notes to write their thoughts instead of actually in the book. Yeah, that's what we were saying before. Annotation is terrible. We don't get down with that. And now they have those sheets. I'm sure you've seen them. They're like yeah, they're like kind of like a large rectangle, and the sheets are see through, and you can put it down on your page, and you can see through, and you can write on it, and just covering it over your book, so that way you're not writing on the pages, you're writing on that sheet, which is see through. Really good invention. You can find it in bookstores, like I think you can find them in Barnes and Noble, Amazon, and places like that. That is a wonderful invention for people who like to annotate but don't want to annotate their books. Write directly in the book. I'm listen. I'm pretty easy. um, let's see. Rosa said Queen of Exiles by Vanessa Riley and Jane Crow, Life of Paul Murray. Okay, you're busy. Raymond said, yay to Jane Crow. Bukola said, romance novels are not my books, snubbers, really. I thought we were talking about books some people snob. Yeah, that counts. Books that people snob. Yeah, people snob romance novels, because they say it's one of those genres that's kind of repetitive, but keep in mind, romance novels sell more books than any other genre. So not really my thing. I mean, I'm not against it. I would read one, but it's not really what my go-to genre. But I know a lot of people really like it. It's a very popular genre, right behind science fiction and fantasy, or should I say fantasy sci-fi in that. Amalola said, I'm reading The Gate by Natsume Soseki. Paradise Once by Olive Senior. Oh, I haven't read any Olive Senior before. And Gift of Love by M.K. Sermons. Very nice. Very nice selection. Um, Curtis says to Alicia, well, I agree with you about the long book for no reason. I feel certain books have chapters that were not needed, like Jubilee, that I just finished reading. Yeah, Jubilee was too long, for sure. Curtis, I totally agree with you. Jubilee was too long. Definitely way too long. Hey D, how are you? Happy Friday. What are you reading? And what are some of your books and peeves? Let's see. Shonda said, yeah, change oh, you changed your username. Um, Bertie, yes, when characters are too stupid to live and you're just like, why? Oh my God. Um, yeah, that was a little bit like the book that Anna and I were reading. Well, yeah, I was trying to read, but I was just like, what is going on? First, we read this month. It was just like, what is going on? It just was just so weird to me, the storyline. Um, Rosa says to Raymond, it's fantastic. I'm about half done learning so much. Bertie said, I purchased recently these translucent sticky notes that I love that I stick in my books now. Yeah, they even have the ones they look like strips, but they're thicker and longer. They'll go like the length of your page, and you can put it over the sentences you wanted to go over. There's so many now. They have so many different kinds of these sticky things. You don't have to, write in your book if you don't want to. I'm a little said, I'm gonna write in the book I bought with my money. Yeah, your prerogative. um, Bertie said, I read an article saying that romance sales are the reason that a lot of other genres get funding through publishers. I'm not surprised because they're the ones that sell the most books. A lot of money is made off of romance. So I think if somebody wants to become a writer and they try to write romance, probably some money if they're good at it. Because there's a lot of people out there looking for, good romance. And then of course in romance you have all kinds of romance. So there's some romance for everybody. Let's see. Tracy said romance isn't my genre either. I've read some though. Yeah, it's not really my thing. Listen, Birdie, interesting. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised because like I said, they make a lot of money off of the romance. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a way for them to pay for some other genres to be published because I'm sure that not a lot of people love reading literature, but it's probably getting financed by romance, which I'm not surprised by that. Let's see. D says currently reading Star Seekers by Nicole Glover. Oh wait, did I see that book somewhere? I saw that book somewhere. And just started After Purity, Race, Sex, and Religion in White American Christian America by Sarah Molzner. I've had a little reading. No problem. That can happen. It can happen. Amalila said, I like love stories and have been thinking about the distinction since I learned that in here. Yeah, the distinction between a love story and, yeah, romance is going to be positive endings. So, yeah, love stories are usually pretty sad. They're good while they're good, and then when they're not, the two people are separated. Yeah, yeah, it's then it's not so good. Um, Birdie said, I love romance, but I haven't read a lot of romance this year and last year. Raymond said, my book snobbery is Quan Mills books. Oh my God. We talking about good old Quan Mills. Yeah, like I can't read that kind of stuff. Nope, not gonna work for me. Tracy said, I read Song in a Weary Throat by Paulie Murray, and I really enjoyed it. Okay. Let's see. Rosa said food slash drink stains are the worst. I totally agree with that. I've even seen and used books blood stains. Like how gross is that? A blood stain, an old ass blood stain, in an old book in a bookstore, and it just kind of grosses you and creeps you out because you don't know what that is. You don't know where that came from, but you don't want it. You don't want it. And then the other thing is when you go to some used bookstores, how the books smell. Now, some bookstores, used bookstores, it's not so bad. But in some of them, like you can get some real surprises. Like you'll open up that book and be like, whoo! Like it's like super funky. Yeah, I can't do it. D said, and I didn't sign up for BookTube prize this round. Okay, no problem. You get a break, girl. Ain't no problem. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Amelie said, love it, love stories, my jaded time of life. Um, no one gets to have happily ever after. Oh yeah. Um, Bertie said the smell of cigarette smoke. Oh my God, that's so disgusting as well. Because cigarette smoke and books, now that is a lethal combination. Because if you're like a smoker and you're smoking all the time in the room with your books, they're going to smell. It ain't gonna be pretty. Oh no, it ain't gonna be pretty. Disgusting. Yeah, I have to agree with that. Yeah, I know. I've been in like a lot of old bookstores. And you start pulling out books, and I literally pulled out, and it had like you could see that it was smeared blood in the inside of the book. The pages were really brown, yellow because it was old. But when you flip through, it had a terrible smell, and it had that, like I said, it had a smeared blood on the side of the page. I was just like, ew, gross. Not taking this one. And then it just kind of turned me off the entire bookstore, and I didn't want to buy anything there. But yeah, it's kind of gross. Raymond said, not blood, sweat, and tears in the book. Yes. Yes, Raymond, the whole ass blood, sweat, and tears. Disgusting. I would not recommend. No, I would not recommend. Melissa, this is why I've stopped buying used books online and just go to half price books. I need to see those things. Yeah, you need to see that shit up close and personal. And there's another thing you have to be careful for is book bugs. That's a thing, y'all. That is a thing. So, like, if you have too many books and you have a chance to shift your books and dust your books and open them up, and you can get what they call these book bugs. And what they do is they get in between the pages, and they what happens is, yeah, they're disgusting. Oh my God, those silverworm bookworms are awful, and they make these horrible smudges all over the pages and stuff. And that's why sometimes when you go to bookstores, like used bookstores, you will see sometimes those bookworms. Girl, run. Run, run, run. You bring one of those to your house and it will be all over your book. Awful, 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 awful. Um, let's see. Bertie says, same. I go to McKay's. Okay, a lot. Tracy, I'd say another book snobbery is used books. I don't do used books at all. It's just a no for me. But I don't criticize anyone who gets used books. I mean, I don't mind used books, but I like I'm alone. I gotta see that shit first. I don't want to be buying something I ain't seen it yet. This could be problematic. The thing will arrive and it'll just be. I've already had enough bad experience of buying a used book and having it show up with some horrible miler on the book that's just horrible, or the book is all annotated and you got to send it back. So I don't do that as much anymore. But now I'll go in a bookstore here, a used bookstore here, and buy them because the books aren't that old, and so you're fine. But you need to see them first. Um, let's see. Let's see. Amalola said, I also put the book in the freezer in a Ziploc. Huh? Wait, you put your used book in a Ziploc and then you put it in the freezer to freeze any bugs that could be in it. Is that what you're doing? Because I've never heard of this before. Um, Birdie says, some books that I'm really interested in are out of print. So used books. Stores are the only places to find them sometimes. Yeah. Or go if you're really looking for some out of print ones, you can go on A Books has a lot of specialized books like that. There's a lot of specialized sellers on there too, if you're looking for something like that. Let's see. So Bertie said I ordered a copy of Beloved, and I thought it was a new copy. It showed up. It was a used library copy book, and I looked at the pages, and everything was underlined. Ugh. Send it back, girl. Don't hesitate. She says I couldn't even read it. I had to return it. Tracy said, "Oh, that's good. It's a good idea. Yeah, freezing the book." Hey, Karen, how are you? Happy Friday. What are you reading? And do you have any book snobbery pet peeves? Amalua said, yes, ma'am. Nothing will survive the Arctic. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Amalua don't play now. She put that in the freezer. She not playing. Raymond said, does it help with the smell? Nah, no, no. Unfortunately, the thing is, if you get a used book and it smells, send it back because it's always going to smell. It's never gonna change. Even if you put it in the freezer and take it out, it's still gonna smell nasty. That's why if you're in a used bookstore and you open it and the book really stinks, then leave it there. Do not buy it because the smell in the book you can't really get the smell out. Particularly if the book is kind of old, it's kind of like it's gonna be there. Um, Amalola said to Tracy, I don't blame you on the no use books. Amalola said to Raymond, I won't buy a smelly book. No, I don't either. That's a mess there. You can't do nothing about no smelly book. It just be stinking. So I won't even take a library to my house. Like, no, will not do it. Ray said also, I can't stand when you loan someone a book and they don't give it back, or they give it back and it's janky. Oh my God, that's the worst. Let's see. It's never happened to me though, because I think when I loan my books out, when I do loan them out, I threaten them with to the inch of their life. You know, I'm not playing. I said, I will come to your house and hunt you down for the coin if my book is messed up. But I usually don't like lending books. Boy, give me the heebie-jeebies. I don't really want to do it. So when they start talking about can you lend me a book, I just say I ain't got it yet. So ask somebody else because I don't want to lend my book out to nobody. Rosa said, I no longer lend books, period. 100. I'm right behind you. Amen. Amala said to Raymond, that person will buy a new book. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I said. The last person I lent to do, I said, I will hunt you down. And I said, you will know never to ask me to lend again. If there anything happens to this book, coffee stains, cigarette, crumbs, nothing, you no. And the person, they read the book and they gave it right back in the same condition. But you see, I had to threaten them to the edge of their life in order to do it. Because I'm like, mm-mm. Books cost too much money to lend to someone and have that person literally like bend the cover off back or dog the ear and do all the rubbish that people be doing. I don't see how you can do that if somebody is lent you a book. I don't see how you can do that. But they cost too much money to be put under that much stress, and it's not your book, it's somebody else's book that you're reading and you're treating it like that. It's just, I don't, that don't make no sense to me. I don't understand what's going on. It's a total lack of respect if the person has lent you the book, and here you are bending the book back and dog earing and doing kind of other to the book. I don't get it. um Shonda says, don't even fold my book pages. Absolutely not. Absolutely don't do it. But I'm like Rosa. I don't lend out. No, sorry. I don't have that book. I'll lend it something that I don't want anymore. I'll just say, okay, here you can read it and you back whatever you need to. And if they never give it back, I don't care because I didn't really want it anyway. Karen says, I rarely lend my books out. If you want to take my copy, I'll just buy myself another one if I can afford it. A lent book almost never comes back in the condition I'd be happy with. Let's see, this is what I'm talking about. But that friend sure brought my book back in the same condition because she knew I was serious. She knew I was not playing. Um, but yeah, what do you think that is? Because that's kind of sad that you can't lend a book back, you lend a book to someone and have it come back in the same condition. What's going on with that? I mean, you lend your car to someone, like well, let's say it's a good friend. If you lend a car to a good friend, like they're not gonna go and purposely get in an accident or, bump your, side of the car, scrape up the sides of the car. They're not gonna be doing all that. So why is it that people take so little care of the book that they've been lent? They take very little care of it, and then in most cases they try to keep it. I don't get that. Rosa said, I house books through lending. I just say, so sorry, but maybe Santa or the birthday fairy will get it. Then it will end up a gift. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Tracy said, I stopped lending books out because folks were keeping my good books. Yeah, well, that's the thing. When it's a good book, you can be guaranteed you ain't getting it back, unless you stay on them or whatever. But I don't know what that is about that bad etiquette of reading a book and dog eating the pages and bending cracking the spine so bad, the pages falling out. I don't get why people do that kind of stuff. Raymond said, my other snob feeling is this. I side eye people who are vocally opposed to reading books. Huh? Who's vocally opposed to reading books? Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wow. Vocally opposed to reading books. That is odd. Very odd. DL said, books don't leave my house. I don't have a lot of print again, and most of them are signed. Yeah, like I loaned the signed copy. I lent the signed copy out to somebody once. Brought it back in the same condition because I threatened them. I said, you do anything to this book, I will come to your house and skin your ass alive. It's signed. So don't play with me. And they didn't. They brought it back in perfect condition. Uh, Wait, what? I know. I'm still back at Raymond's comment. Like, what? Hey Mila, how are you? Happy Friday. What are you reading? What are some of your book snob pet peeves? I will tell people where they can find books. I do not, big cap letters, let people borrow my books. Nope. Been there, done that. Not doing that again. I can see that. Tracy said, yes, my personal library is sacred, so no lending. Yeah, like I barely even want to lend to my daughters because, well, to one of my daughters, my oldest daughter, she's one of the people who might bend the book a little bit more. She might be drinking and might still. She's the one that'll do all that. The young one held to the no because like she wanted me to lend her a book, and the youngest said, "No, mom, because she gonna mess it up. She'll never be able to get it back to you in the same condition." Like her little sister was telling on her. I was like, "Okay, book." Um, yeah, no, 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 no. Rosa said to, and that's a sign for me to leave the conversation or your company. Yowza. Ren said, there is a group of folks, I'm thinking hoteps, who think reading is pointless. What? Get out of here. And that people should be financially literate rather than book literate. Okay, what? What? That makes no sense. None of that makes any sense to me. I'm confused. Okay, some people got to do what they got to do, but it's not the best choice. Um, want to be financially literate, don't want to be book literate. Well, I feel like that's not that doesn't really make sense because you be financially literate, you got to read a contract every now and then. So if you're not used to reading, how are you going to sign a contract that you can't read well? That don't make no sense. Yeah. See, I just Jersey just said the same thing. Financial literate, you must be able to read your contracts and such. That's what you said. I don't know. It's not making any sense to me. I'm confused. Um, but I did hear people say stuff like that when I was in college, back in the 80s. Mid to late 80s. I can remember hearing when people would ask me what my major was, and I would say I was an English lit major, and they would look at me and they would say, "What you gonna do with that?" Like black people don't write books. I actually had somebody say that at my high school reunion. It was one of my classmates' boyfriend, boyfriend that said, "Black people don't read books. Black people don't write books. Why are you majoring in? That's like a waste. You should be majoring in engineering." This is what the guy told me. Yeah, I just kind of looked at him like nuts. Bertie said, my boyfriend enjoys books. Thank goodness, because I just couldn't be with someone that doesn't enjoy books or thinks they're ridiculous. I couldn't either. There's no way I could be married to somebody who doesn't like to read. That can't go down. Donna said, I don't understand the folks that don't feel listening to an audiobook is reading. I count my audiobooks as reading, but to each his own. Yeah, what's it reading? Because what people don't seem to understand is that even if you look at, let's just take reading out of the equation, just look at like how people learn things. People don't learn things in the same way. Some people are going to be very good at, listening to the lecture and taking in the information through listening, and they're going to get more out of it. They are made to write things down. Some people, they need to write things down because that's how they process. They listen and then have to write. Other people are going to use other techniques to learn. And that right there tells you reading is an experience that's going to be different for different people. So some people are going to do really well with listening to audiobooks, not so well with sitting down and just, focusing and reading. Um, so I feel like to each their own, and people have to read the way they feel comfortable, which is the most entertaining to them. So I struggle to understand why people have a problem with that because yeah, like I need to be, like I need to be focused. I need to, be sitting, somewhere. I gotta have a notebook and my pen. That's how I have to do it. But other people don't have to do it that way. Other people they just simply have to they can just simply take the book and read. They might like dog ear a page, although I can't stand that, but stick some tabs in there and they're good to go. You know, people might just need to listen while they're doing the dishes and listen to the audio book, vacuuming or whatever, and that's enough for them. They can still process and analyze. So everybody has to do it differently. We have to accept that. I don't understand people who are opposed to reading. I don't get that either. Brady said, I'm not saying that. That's the only reason why people listen to audio books, but it genuinely enrages me when people have that audio book, when people say that audio books aren't reading argument. Yeah, I don't like that either. It doesn't make sense. Sean, I totally agree with you, Dee Dee. Amalola says, I've had someone try to belittle my reading, call my preference for fiction storybooks. This person only reads self-help. Oh my God. You know, that's a pet peeve for me. A self-help book. Yeah, I'm out. I cannot. Nope. 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 Anything that starts to look remotely like self-help, I'm out. Account. Nope. But I'm not sure why the person said that you're reading the storybook. That just means the person doesn't read. That's all. Amalua said reading anything else was a waste of time. Well, then that just means they don't understand what reading does. Reading is a form of entertainment. It's a form of education. Um, Reading is escape. Reading is so many things to so many different people. Um, Already said when I used to go to people's houses and see what they would read, sometimes just off I would run just off their bookshelf. Yeah, because like you go to some people's like you go to some people's houses and they don't even have books. They don't have any bookshelf anywhere in their house. And then you have people that have a lot of books, but like it's like some people will have, the long, bookshelf in their hallway or their living room or something, and you can tell they're big readers if they do that. And then you have some French people, they have no books in their house and they absolutely do not read. And then you'll have some have a small bookshelf, but they read a lot because they go to the library. But I'm always suspicious of people who just don't like reading at all because I'm thinking, what's wrong with you? Yeah, I'm thinking, what's wrong with you? Tracy said to the juror at your high school reunion, who said black people don't write and read books. They're just not paying attention to black authors and historical. That dude wasn't reading. Period. Like I don't even think he was reading the newspaper. So I just took it with a grain of salt and I said, "Your opinion, you do you, and I'm gonna do me." That's what I told him. I'm not fighting with my friend's boyfriend. I don't give a shit about him. I just said, "Look, you do, I'm gonna do me," and he stopped that. Raymond said, "I saw that folks whose favorite books are 48 Laws of Power and Rich Dad and Poor Dad." Oh my God. Oh my God. You're killing me, Raymond. Curtis says to me, I am with you about the self-help books. I'm out for the count with the self-help. Do not send me no self-help. Curtis said, I am out as well. The only exception is if it is some sort of financial literacy book. Other than that, it's a no for me, dog. I know, yeah, I don't like it. Birdie said, oh wait, it flipped up. Birdie said, I read somewhere that the average person only has 15 books in their house. I was like, who is that? Girl, let me tell you, there's a lot of people I know they ain't got but 15 books in their house. Quite a few people I know that only have 15 in their house. Now, most of my closest friends, that's not the case. All my book club ladies in my normally book club, they all have countless numbers of books in their house. Um, but yeah, it's a thing that some people don't have it. They don't. They have, and they may only own. Now, keep in mind, you can have people that only own 15 books here, particularly in Paris, because they have a very small apartment, so they can't afford to buy these books, and they have nowhere to store the books. So I don't have as many. Like my youngest daughter starts to have a lot. She has like a whole bookcase full of books. She's looking to get a bookcase. She didn't like me. She liked me. I think she was gonna be like me with that. She liked me. She likes to read, and she's starting to fill up a bookcase. Now my oldest, she has books in her place too, but she doesn't buy a lot of books because it'll take space in her apartment. That's why she doesn't really buy them. Really, the best thing to do is if you live in Paris and you live in a small apartment, is to get like a library card, and then you don't have to worry about owning them because most people have no space to own them. Um, but a little, the 15 books. Well, look, some people they don't even own 15, but they own zero and they read zero. A lot of people. Let's see. Lashonda says, and the folks that give me a side eye when I talk about graphic novels. I had someone actually say, "Aren't you too old for comic books?" What? Get out of here! My response was, "Aren't you too old not to know the difference?" Oh, Jesus. Comic books and graphic novels are another great way of reading. Uh, it's a great experience. Um, he says, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or Atlas Shrugged. Okay, now I have not read Atlas Shrugged, but I have read The Fountainhead. Lord Jesus, I've read The Fountainhead. Um, Amalola said, I'm okay with a person not having many books where they use the library a lot. I have some folks in one of my book clubs who use the library 80%ish. Yeah, that's fine. There's a lady who bought a tiny home and had to give away a lot of her books because of space. Yeah. See, now that would depress me. I don't think I could live in a tiny home. I could not. Bertie said, I'm trying to downsize. I'm even getting rid of books that I liked if I'm not going to reread it or it's not a 5 star. Yeah, I'm definitely going down that route. I want 4 stars. I don't want any 3, 2, or ones hanging around. Tracy said, as soon as publishers randomly send me self-help, yeah, yeah, those go straight to the little free libraries. Ooh, I don't. Bertie said, that's how I got younger siblings into reading. My younger siblings read the Dogman graphic novels series, and they absolutely loved it. Yeah. Tracy said, those tiny homes are something else. I mean, they're really well done. Oh, I gotta have my books with me. I mean, I might need a tiny home next to my tiny home just for my books. That's what I need. So it'd be like 2 tiny homes next to each other. It's my personal library, tiny home, and the other is where I live. Because yeah, tiny homes be tiny, but yeah, it's problematic. Like these preconceived of novels have always bugged me because sometimes here, even in France, like parents get all bent out of shape because their kids want to read graphic novels, but they don't want to read regular novels. And then like teachers have to kind of tell them that. This is a stepping stone to them reading regular novels. It's a way to get them to read regular novels. That is going to happen. Eventually, they're going to want to read something that, in a different way. But yeah, it's a problem. Let's see. Okay, Birdie says that's okay. That's how she got her younger. Um, we need a library home in next to the tiny home. Absolutely. Tracy said those tiny homes are ingeniously done. Yeah, but I still need the tiny home library next door to my tiny home because otherwise it ain't gonna work. Um, Tracy said I read a graphic novel about Josephine Baker that was really good. There you go. Bertie said graphic novels to help my little brother ADHD. Yeah, I think graphic novels are good for that. Understand things a little bit better, and now he loves to read. He's only in sixth grade. There you go. Graphic novels can be a really good way. Also, if you're in a reading slump, I think graphic novels are great when you're in a reading slump because it gets you to still read, but you're reading differently. Can be a way of easing you out of the reading slump. Graphic novels. Um, so yeah, you can do a lot of those. And graphic novels and comics can be super super serious, just like they can be super super silly, funny, lightweight. You got a little bit of everything. So I think that's the best thing about graphic novels. You usually pick up something that is light and funny, and then you can, pick up something that's really serious, or you can pick up an adaptation of a graphic novel from a novel. There's all kinds of different types of graphic novels and comics out there where somebody could find something that they like. Um, let's see. Bertie said, my other little brother, he's 5, and I asked him what he wanted for Christmas, and he said books about Spider-Man, and I was like, I got it. I got him 3. Yeah. Because those are the ones that a lot of boys like. They love the superhero comics. Um, and now that's like a big thing. Of course, U.S. comics around superheroes are that's the big comic in the states, which has of course moved all over the world. But if you come to Europe, the big countries that really read lots of comics are Belgium and France. Those are the two countries where they promote reading comics. They have comic festivals. A lot of the artists and writers are French or Belgian. Um, so it's a big deal. It's a part of the reading, the reading world. Um, let's see. Bertie said all 4 of them are learning that if they want books, they just need to tell me what they want, and I will get it for them and make sure it's age appropriate. There you go. That's the beginning. When it starts to be like that, when they'll ask you for a book, it's because now they've sort of get a bug. So you can get things for them, and yeah, you can also check the age appropriateness before you getting it, and so that's how it starts. The bug starts that way. So yeah, I think people should read more graphic novels. They're fun. Read one, especially if you're in a reading slump. Pick one that's light though, that's not too heavy, but maybe that's a little humoristic. Pick one of those. I even like the one like the like stuff like Asterix, T-Buff, stuff like that. It's like kids comics, but they're funny. I love reading those. They crack me up. Tracy said folks need to understand the difference between a comic book and a graphic novel. Exactly. So your comic book is like, your typical, Black Panther, Superman, that kind of thing. And a graphic novel is usually a story that has a little bit more depth to it in the sense that it's like you're reading a novel or a memoir uh, or a biography of someone, but it's with pictures and words. Um, see. Bertie said, I try to read them before I give them to them, and they're a lot of fun. Even though I'm in my 30s, it's made me learn how to love graphic novels. And now I go to my comic book shop regularly. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a good. I mean, I love a good kitty comic that makes me laugh. That some of them really make me, they crack me up. They're really funny, and they're very easy. That's another thing. Graphic novels are very easy to reread. As much as some people don't like reread, we can reread a comic so easily, and and you feel really, if it makes you laugh, you laugh just as much as you did the first time, second time you read it. That's when you know it's a comic that you really like. Um, Birdie said one of my favorite ones I actually bought myself. A copy was They Called Us Enemy by George Takei. Oh, I've seen that one. Isn't that the, George Takei? That's the guy who was in Star Trek, if I'm not mistaken. It's about him and his family when they were in the Japanese internment camps, if I remember correctly. Um, I think yeah, I think that's what it is because I remember seeing that one. Um, and then I think I remember seeing people say good things about that one. And that's another thing you can learn things about, historical events, famous people, all kinds of things. People that are well known and people that are lesser known, but they still have interesting stories. So don't sleep on the graphic novel because it's good. It's real good. And don't sleep on reading in general. And like, who are these people out here saying reading is not important? Like, who are these financial experts saying you don't need to read? I don't want to. I don't want their financial expertise. Thank you. That's crazy. That's wild. So wild. Um, let's see. Yeah, Bertie says the amount of things that I've learned outside of school that you should have learned in school because of reading is insane. I know, I agree. And I learned a lot of stuff in school, but damn, there's stuff I learned which I should have been able to learn and I had not learned. So I totally get you on that one right there. So that's it, y'all, for the day. I am going to shove off because I need to get back to artificial wisdom since we got the author with us tomorrow. And I'm not. Tracy said, yep, he played Lieutenant Hiraku Suli. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for coming in to talk to me about book snobbery and reading and letting me know what you're reading this weekend and today. Have a wonderful Friday evening. If you're in the past, the snow and the ice, stay in, people. Get your stuff together and stay in. Be warm. Snuggle up. Read your books. I pray that nobody gets their electricity turned off. I'm praying for that. So, see you guys next Friday. Bye bye.